Woo! On the dot, guys. I got it on the dot. Hey, welcome to my first Charmed season 3 live stream. And we're talking about episode 4 today. I am extremely excited to talk about this episode because I got questions. I always has questions. So we are going to just jump in. I love the fact that they named the series or the name of this episode, You Can't Touch This, because it is a combination of what's going on and the fact that they like MC Hammer. Let me know if you guys have any audio or syncing problems. I did hear you feedback on my Yashahime video that it was going in and out. I have no idea what that's about. It could be, I live in Tennessee. We get hit by a lot of snow, a lot of water outages, sometimes power outages. So more than likely the lines or whatever for my internet is frozen. So just let me know if that is an issue. But yeah, I am excited, guys. So the girls are now attending college. Well, technically Maggie is attending and Mel is working. So they're using Vera, their last name. So this tells me now, and they even said they're getting their old lives back, that they have taken back their old identities. And I do wonder, what does this mean for their, previous lives and all the people in their previous lives? Like, is Nico now going to realize that Mel's alive and come, into the fold? Are anybody in their past lives going to figure out that they're alive? I really want to know. So it's very, very interesting. But so much drama, guys. So the girls and Harry cannot touch each other. They've actually come up with this really cool system of being at like 5 feet apart. So they're having their own personal COVID without saying it's COVID. Macy is extremely frustrated, and I'm just going to say it, extremely horny. Like, she's having issues that she cannot love her man the way she wants to love her man. And I get it. It's very frustrating to be in a, especially since they just recently said they love each other, to be in a relationship that's that strong and passionate and not be able to do anything about it. So I do get that. I understand that is frustrating, but man, she's got it. She's got it pretty bad. And poor Harry's trying to be the voice of reason in this. And I feel so bad. Before I get more into the plot, let's talk about 2 things that I thought were very interesting in this show. Macy straightened her hair, look really pretty. And I guess, Maggie's going to straight up be curly. Now I'm a curly girl. I have naturally curly hair. I flat iron this crap. So I'm completely down with that. As a matter of fact, my hair is very similar to how Maggie's looks. So I'm completely okay with that. But I thought that was really interesting. And then I thought about OG Charmed and how, they would just dye their hair different colors, especially Phoebe. I think Phoebe and Paige were notorious for changing their hair colors. So I think that this is another way that the girls get to redefine themselves and, whatever. I think it's really cool. But I don't know. I kind of like the fact that they, kind of straightened and had their hair curly. Like, they changed it up a little bit. It was kind of cool. When I talk to the turnout, I'm sure he's going to say something about Maggie's hair because he is the person that talks about Maggie's hair. So I need to talk to him about it. And I see you guys posting in the chat. I will get to it in a second. I'm just going to get through the kind of like the review portion, and then we'll just talk about it. All right. So we've learned that at this point, it's been 3 months. They can't touch each other. Macy's been trying all of these things to try, like every spell, these different ingredients to try and break this spell to see, so they can basically hug and touch each other and she can be with her man again. They are basically not only allergic to each other, they are allergic to anything magical or affected by magic. So Maggie can't even touch Jordan because he's cursed. That is messed up. Good way of putting the brakes on their potential relationship, though. But speaking of Maggie, as I said, she's back in school, majoring in psychology. She does have a new rival. His name is Antonio. He apparently went to the same school that her professor that she's trying to impress to get an internship in psychology with. They went to the same school. So I guess this is her rival. And honestly, he is a bit of a dick. He talks over her in class and he just acts out. So I can see Maggie is very frustrated, but I'm really, really hoping. I am hoping that he is not going to be a future love rival for Jordan or a potential love interest, period, for Maggie. Because that's normally what happens whenever they hate each other. They normally end up together. So I'm hoping that's not what's going to happen with this Antonio guy. It will really irritate me. On the flip side, Mel is back to teaching, and she has a transgendered student named Kevin in class who's being pretty much harassed and bullied by two transphobic, creeps, one being his roommate in class. And so Mel has the idea to add a book about transgender identity onto the curriculum, and she takes it to the dean to try and help Kevin out, to basically get people to be more educated on transgendered and identity in general. And of course, it doesn't really work because the dean, and now I don't think the dean's homophobic, but I think she was like, this is very political and I don't want to have people saying stuff or parents calling about their college kids, kids reading about transgendered stuff. So she vetoes it, which is messed up. Later on in the episode, though, Mel does get the dean to agree to give Kevin a private dorm room in his own bathroom, and he turns it down because he wants to be seen. And even if he has to struggle with these jerks, I get it. This is a way of being an activist. So I was very, very excited about that. And if you know anything about me, I'm queer. My spouse is transgendered Korean American. So lots of transphobia, especially with my spouse's background, because traditional Korean parents, I don't think I need to go any further than that. So we deal with stuff like that all the time. So I love episodes that deal with this because it is something that they don't really talk about outside of just talking about the issue of transphobia, actually seeing something positive on the show. So props to Charm for doing that. All right. So let's talk about the meat of this thing. All of the girls are individually possessed by this creature. We don't know it's a creature at the time, but every night it seems to possess a different sister, or a different day, should I say. It gets Mel when she goes to the porch because she hears a noise. And I don't know if it was just me, guys, but wasn't it weird that every time like the entity would come near them, they'd open their mouths? It's like they were waiting on it to go in. It's like, and they're like, ooh, like, what is happening? But whatever. But it possesses them. And they end up going out and digging these bones up and bringing them back to the command center, but they have no memory of doing it the next day. And then, of course, the entity will move on to the next one. Maggie has a panic attack because of Antonio and the teacher, basically, her being told she was being rude when Antonio was talking over her in class by the professor, and it just triggered an anxiety attack or a panic attack. So she goes to the library, and then she gets possessed, and then she ends up going in. You see her dragging bones to the command center. And then the third time it happens, it's Macy. And when she does it, she's actually doing a spell. And it's like basically a spell that requires all of the charmed ones to do it. And I guess it's like the power of 3 or charm 1 spell. So I don't think they all had to be there. They all had to have the energy or whatever. But it's kind of like a restoration spell or bringing, someone back. And so you see like this big tornado cloud of smoke, and Harry tries to stop her, which I kept thinking, when they realized that Macy was being possessed and was at the command center, of course, he just teleports and he can't take the girls with him, without them all like infecting each other with this allergy. He was trying to stop Macy from doing the spell. And I kept thinking, why didn't he just grab her? Because then they would have like blasted apart and that might have snapped her out of it. Yeah, she'd have an allergy attack, but it would stop the spell. But he never did that. When the girls show up at the command center, Harry's gone. The thing took Harry and apparently like stung him or something. It was septic. And like earlier in the episode, they had like this moon poppy, this flower that, Macy was trying to see if it would break the spell, because apparently it's used to purify blood. And she discovered that, mixing the source with the tree kind of made them basically be infected by some weird energy that just shows up on the map. And it's just kind of like a magical infection, which is why they have an allergy now to everything magical, including each other. And so I thought it was interesting that she had that moon poppy stuff with her still. Because, she was so frustrated that she couldn't be with her man. She was like working out on the bag and like doing all this stuff. And then, of course, she got possessed. I'm like, why did she have this vial with her? I'm not nitpicking. I'm just asking. It seemed like it would be fragile. Why did she just have it? I don't know. It's just something I thought about when, she uses this to wake Harry up by using her telekinesis to drop the moon poppy, I'm calling it juice or whatever, into his mouth, and it wakes him up. Okay. So they don't know what this creature is, and it looks really freaking weird. It looks like something out of Aliens or like some out of sci-fi movie that, definitely not in the time period. They do find out that this creature probably predates, man, and is probably thousands of years old, at least over 10,000 years old. And earlier in the episode, Harry had found like a stone tablet or like flat rock with these hieroglyphic type symbols on that they don't know how to read. And it's because he had convinced, Macy to take some of her allergy to do like, a reveal type spell to see if they could figure out exactly what the root of their allergy to each other is. But it doesn't work. And she gets frustrated. And that's when she leaves, and it blasts a hole into the wall. And that's where he finds, this flat tablet. And I keep thinking how much, like, what else is in that command center? I mean, they just keep finding stuff, it's weird. But anyway, back to the creature. They don't know what this creature is. So they start chasing, or the creature starts chasing Mel and Maggie while Macy is saving Harry. Now, this is where it gets really confusing. And you guys, if you are not on board with this, that's fine. I just have to say this because, I nitpick a little bit. I can't help it. It's who I am. Why in the hell did it take Mel and Maggie so long to use their effing powers on this thing? They are running, and then they stand there, and Mel's staring at the thing, and I'm like, burn him, freeze him, do something. Macy has to come and use her telekinesis to immobilize this thing. And then Maggie's like, okay. And she gives him like the pink good feelings, I guess. It like makes him calm down. And then she's like, okay, now take it out. And then Mel burns him. I'm like, why didn't Mel use her damn powers? Man, if I had Elsa powers and Human Torch powers, man, really? I would have froze his ass the moment he came at me. I wouldn't be running, doing cardio through the wood. No, ma'am. I would have froze him right there. And then I would have burned him alive. And then I would have been like, snap. I'm like, that's what would have happened. So I'm confused on, is there like a rule that they have to go in a certain order? I mean, I don't understand why you cannot use your powers whenever the hell you want. Somebody please explain this to me, because I don't understand. So I think if I'm going to critique anything in this entire episode, it is going to be that. I do not understand why she couldn't use her powers immediately. Why she had to wait for Macy to use hers, then Maggie to use what? Why didn't Maggie and Mel just double team him? Why? I'm just saying. But I will say I did enjoy the fact that Harry not only really wants to take Macy to Paris, he brought her a Parisian breakfast, and they had a little Parisian dinner, and it was so cute. And him saying, I love you so much, I feel it in my bones. I mean, smooth. Harry is nothing if he is not smooth. So Hasty on point in this episode. I really love the chemistry between them. I know a lot of people that aren't Hasty fans don't like them together, but I just think that's crazy, because I think that they are a very, very good couple, and I'm super excited. And the obstacles that they're facing are just like what Piper and Leo did in OG series. They went through so much crap to be together. So I'm glad they're not making it easy, but it's just crazy that not only can they not touch, they can't touch anybody that's magical. Not even their, Macy can't touch her sisters. They can't touch anybody. They can't touch Jordan. Jordan, even though he's human and is cursed, they cannot touch Jordan. So it's really interesting. I will say I watched a preview for the next episode, and apparently Julian left Macy safe space. So now we got the sisters just, they just like to inherit things. I mean, you got Mel inheriting the magic shop from the woman that was her girlfriend for like 30 seconds. And now you got Macy inheriting safe space from the guy that was her boyfriend for like 2 hours. I don't really know. 2 episodes? I don't know. It's interesting. It is very interesting. I'm trying to think if I forgot anything before. I already talked about their bodies getting off the energy signal due to their infection. We already talked about the creature, and the creature, like I said, it predates man. So the reason they can't find anything magical like a solution is because there probably is not one that they know of in their language, or any language that even the Book of Elders can translate. So they have to find now, which honestly, theory, They might need Mel might need Ray, her dad, because, he's an archaeologist. So I think he might actually be able to look at that and see, or at least try and see what language that is. He may know what it is. I mean, that's pretty much what he does. So it's a good way of bringing Ray back in. So I really hope that they do that. Who was the thing that came through the rip, though? The very end of the episode, you see like a big light tear. Like, I was thinking, like, I saw that, my mind went right to WandaVision. I'm like, oh, so we're doing the multiverse now. I mean, somebody just came through another dimension. So I'm like, what was that? I'm like, who do you think that was? Now, I know some people are going to be like, it's Jimmy. Jimmy's not dead. That was Jimmy. What you really brought back was Jimmy. And I'm like, I can't say that's not true. I would like to think that actually wasn't Jimmy and that we're going somewhere else with this plot. But it could be anybody. It could be anyone that died in season 1, season 2. I mean, it could be the source, the original source. Who knows? All I know is that gives us kind of a level of excitement that they brought somebody back that is going to be possibly the worst person they've ever faced. And remember, Viv just tried to destroy all magic. So that would be very cool. But yeah, I'm curious to see who that was. They made it look like, just from the silhouette, that it was a guy. But I mean, it could be Alistair. It could be anybody. It could be absolutely anybody. So I'm extremely freaking excited. You know how cool it would be if it had been their mom? If that was a way that they brought their mother back from the dead. Maybe they were digging up, but of course they're a long way from her grave. But I don't know. All right, so let's check some of the comments. I just saw one at the bottom. Somebody's like, I hope it's Alistair or Hunter. Yeah, I could see that. Cole from OG Charmed. Okay, I would be down with that, but I would need to have some exposition on why he's in this universe, because technically they are their own series. I am not hating on that idea. I think that is a really good idea, but I need to know why what skin does Cole have in this game is what I want to know. No more cranes, please. I want them to actually flesh out more of Abby's sister and mother's stories. I really want to know what's going on with that. I think that would be cool. Would be interesting if it was Jimmy, but it would be better to go another route. Yes, I agree with that. I want them to have someone original that we've never heard of. Maybe somebody in correlation with the creature that we saw. So someone from that time period. Maybe we'll get like a crazy pharaoh or something. And it'd be really neat. I've always said they should have some kind of Egyptian magic. I think this show really needs to really focus on international magic. Because if you look at Kat, I think early on in my season 2 episode, I said she was a medium because if, she actually had, she was Thai and Filipino, and both of those countries are very heavy on mediums and ghosts because they believe heavily in the supernatural and ghosts in those countries. So I thought that was a really good way of tying in those cultures. So think about that, if they actually had Egyptian magic, like based on Egyptian, that would be really, really cool. Let's see here. Yes, to international magic. Hi, Kevin. Or Daryl. Daryl, you are bringing OG people. I see what you're doing. You're using that rip to cross over the universes. That's what's happening right there. Hello, Maria. I just wanted to pop on and show support. I can't stay for the stream, unfortunately. Thank you, Yito. I know it's late. I just wanted to try something new because I wanted to get these videos out as quickly as possible and not be up at 1 a.m. doing it. So plus, while it's fresh on my brain, I literally come straight from the episode. So I think this is pretty cool. Again, if you guys have any tech issues, let me know. I'm trying to figure out if it's my router, if it's the snow. So let me know if I'm jumping in and out, if something's freezing, let me know because I'm curious. Because I should be able to do live streams if I'm hardwired into my router. At least that's what I pay extra for. Let's see. Or Piper from the original Blue Savior. What are you doing? Maybe a powerful wizard or something. Huh. A wizard. That's a good Harry Potter crossover. Have Ron Weasley pop out with Hagrid. Let's see. Piper, Leo, and Wyatt. I see what this conversation's going to. Everyone's trying to bring that riff, and you're trying to cross the universes, which is not a bad idea. It's actually pretty funny. It's got to be tied to what they can't touch. If that monster is ancient, it probably has to deal with a very powerful being, the first set of charmed ones banished. Now, how cool would that be if it was a white lighter of the original charmed ones in their universe? Huh. I don't know if there's any significance over the color, but it was a white light. I'm just throwing that out there. Maybe the lightning meant Jada. I wish it was Jada. Oh my gosh. I don't know why Jada hasn't come to find Mel. She is half white lighter. That should have been something they implemented. I'm sure the actress would have come in for like a guest starring role. I mean, they brought Parker back, and I know he's dating Maggie's actress in real life, and it's easy. You know, he's easily accessible. But I mean, I'm sure this girl wants to work, so give her a little co-star, a cameo, or something. Bring Jada, like hashtag bring Jada back, and hashtag closure for Nico. Even if Nico is not going to be with Mel, she should know now that Mel is alive. So Nico should have every opportunity, and probably would, to come and find Mel, because they did not leave on bad terms. Mel just like disappeared at the end of season 1. Nico was waiting for her. So they need to have closure, and they need to make this happen. Let's see here. Hunter is hot. Sorry guys, every time I move up, it loves to move back down. Jada ghosted when Super Witch nuked her whole coven and embodied her with her own power. This is true. That's true. She did when everything went down with Fiona. She did leave when the Sister Arcata basically got wiped out. But she was running because she was scared. So the Charmed Ones dealt with the source. There is no threat anymore. I'm sure she's knowledgeable about that because she was knowledgeable about a lot of stuff. You know, she was helping Mel with spells and stuff. So I'm sure she knows. She has no reason not to find them unless she just wants to stay out of their crazy lives, which I get. I get that. The Charmed Ones, they do have a lot of crazy crap that happens to them. Bring the grandma back from the OG Charmed. Heck, bring the grandma from this one. Where's grandma? I'm like, where are the other Veras? Where are the other family members? That's what I would love. I would love for them to have more family members. You mean to tell me that Ray doesn't have a mother? You know, did Marisol give birth to herself? There are no cousins. What's happening? I'm like, any predictions for the promo? Well, I think it's going to be a continuation of the crap that's happened in this episode, what they're dealing with in their lives. Like, I think that we're definitely going to see Maggie struggling a lot between her, anxiety attacks, trying to be the best, our top girl in class, as well as her charmed, and not being able to touch her sister's responsibilities and trying to fix all that. So she's going to be split. Mel's probably going to get in trouble because she did go against what the dean said, and she passed that book out. So she may be having the repercussions of that in the next episode. But I think Macy is going to lose her mind because Julian left her safe space, and she's going to feel guilty as hell that he died helping them. So I think we're going to be a lot in our feelings in the next episode. Maggie was snapping this episode. Yes, she was. She was. Let's see. I love how Harry just went all battle mode when Macy was missing again. Yeah, he didn't even hesitate. He's like, bye bitches. But I mean, to be fair, he couldn't teleport them anyway. They just blow across the room from each other. But I mean, honestly, if they could touch, he probably wouldn't take them either. He probably just would have been gone. But again, why didn't he think to just touch his girlfriend? Because if he touched Macy, it would have ended the spell really quickly because she would have went zoop and he would have went zoop, and then that would have ended it. I don't understand why he didn't think of that, because I always think about the fact, maybe I don't know if it's I'm a minority and I'm queer and I need to run a lot. So maybe I just always look for an out really quickly. But I'm like, why didn't you not do that? I don't know. It was really weird. Bro, I was thinking the same thing. I love how Harry just went all about him. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. And I believe I'm rereading stuff because it's scrolling. Can we get a time travel episode like OG? Can we go to the past? Did they have powers as kids? Huh. Well, I mean, I think they did, because remember when Marisol was dying, she was unbinding her girls. So she used bound their powers when they were little. So yeah, they did have powers when they were kids. They were just bound. And of course, in this version, their mother was an elder, and that's not what Penny was. Penny wasn't an elder. Their grandmother wasn't an elder in the OG one. They just, knew they had the Charmed Ones. I'm in love with Harry. You'll have to fight Macy over that one. I'm like, it's just saying. Their common sense went right out the window. I know. And again, I love this show. I do. It is not the girl's fault. It's not the writer's fault. It is the writer's fault. I tried, guys. I tried. It is definitely the writer's fault because they make them so smart. Like, you make these characters brilliant. You make them, charming, charismatic. They're beautiful girls. but then you make them have zero common sense when it matters. It's like they can have common sense about everything else during the day, give each other life advice, blah, blah, blah. But then here comes a monster and they're like, what do we do? Like, freaking use your powers. I'm like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, okay, Mufasa. Let's see. The grandma was a high priestess in OG. Yeah, she was. And remember, their whole family was tied. Like they could actually summon their family members. Like we haven't had that. We haven't had where they go in there and bring, do like a spell and their mother can come back and talk to them. So I don't think that that's not something they can't do. I just don't think that it's not been thought about or written about. I don't know why. Sometimes I feel like they're trying very hard to separate themselves from OG Charmed, but they do so many things that are similar. Like they put their characters in so many predicaments. Like look at Maggie. Maggie going back to school. Maggie majoring in psychology. Phoebe going back to school. Phoebe majoring in psychology. It's always that way. It just seems like as much as they try to be their own thing, they still are holding on to some of the core elements of the OG Charm. They're just morphing it in a different way. So instead of having Piper, who was traditionally the middle child, and then became the older child, Macy was always the older child. And both of the sisters ended up with white lighters. I mean, it's just so much that it kind of parallel each other, but they're still trying to keep it separate. And I think that is the struggle with them. It's like they're trying to pick and choose what they take from the OG show and what they make their own. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I just thought that was interesting that, kind of went that route. Is Parker coming back? Probably not. I know the actor is still with Maggie's actress in real life. I don't know if they live together, but I know they're still dating. But she told him to go take a flying leap. She was done with him. I actually didn't like how that went down. He became human for her and everything. And actually now his life is in danger because he can't defend himself in case he has any enemies that want to come after him. He gave up his power, his demonic side for her. And who knows what's going to happen. So why can't they summon their ancestors? This is like Korra messing up and losing connection to past lives. I mean, they are prodigies in magic somehow. I don't think they thought about it. I mean, honestly, these girls function on a level of were we told we could do this? Like, it wasn't like an adventurous. Plus, they don't have the Book of Shadows anymore. So maybe they never got to see that far in the book. Mel seemed to be the only one reading it. So I don't know. I really have no idea why they haven't, why especially Macy. Macy's a scientist. I don't know why she didn't take more interest in it. But I guess because science versus magic, she probably in principle didn't. But yeah, I don't know why they didn't. It's a really interesting question because you would think that that would be the first spell that they would want to do. Like, I'm surprised they didn't think of a resurrection spell for their mother. It is what it is, I guess. The source will come back in Macy. Possibly. I'm wondering if Macy's going to get her demon half back or demon side back. I don't understand. I know that when Abby stabbed her with the dagger, it took her demon powers. But did it take the entire blood? Like, if she was brought back to life by a necromancer and the reason she was able to live is because of the blood that she put in her, if removing that blood from her body, would that not make her die? So then that makes me wonder if the blood is just dormant, like maybe it turned that blood off. And then if something were to activate it again, then she'd be half demon again. And I really wish they would do that because it's kind of like, I think somebody even said this on a comment of mine, a video I did, charm video. It's like taking the white lighter, side out of Paige in the OG series. It wouldn't be the same. Yes, she's definitely a charm one and she's a witch, but it made her so much more interesting when she had that white lighter path that her two sisters didn't have. Just like with Macy struggling between her demon side and her, human or her witch side and her good side. I felt like that struggle made her much more relatable and it made her more human to me, if that makes sense, her going through all this stuff. Because right now, Macy's biggest issue is she can't get laid with her man. I mean, I'm just saying, I'm like, I want her to have more depth back. I really want her to have that struggle. I just thought it was really cool. What happened to Abigail at the end? Abigail is not in this episode. And in the last episode, she got the little wooden statue with the weird head and the yellow smoke went into her nose and then her head became demonic in the mirror. And then she said, now no one can stop me. So they're trying to make her a villain again, which actually ticks me off a lot, but it's fine. I don't think it's a constant thing for Macy. It was just that she needed them to bring her back, but it wasn't keeping her alive. See, I just want them to say that. You know what I mean? I want them to set some kind of rule. Like even when, they went back to use her name Vera today in the episode. I thought it was cool. I'm glad they're getting their names back. But what does this mean for their lives? They have an obituary out there with their deaths. How do they explain just randomly going back to your life? Like, will they get in trouble? Like, would the law say, oh, did you do this for tax fraud reasons? Did you want the life insurance policy? That's what I want to know. I want to know, are there any repercussions to just taking your life back and your name back? I just need to know. Because, the biggest problem I had with season 2 was that they had no identity. So they couldn't get Social Security cards. How could they work? How could they get a driver's license? Because they're not real. So now that they have their real identities back, they've got to explain all this stuff. Like, why didn't you pay did you work last year? If you did, why didn't you pay taxes? Just all of this stuff, It's just so many things that would make it more believable to me of them taking their identities back if they actually dealt with the consequences of taking their identities back instead of just getting a job as a professor and, doing all of this stuff. Because Macy's a professor. She's working as a professor and the dean says she's on the fast track to tenure. So, I really need to see if that is a thing. Are they going to have repercussions for taking back their identity just out of nowhere? I don't think the magical world around them just made it so everybody knew that they were alive and everyone forgot that they were dead. I don't think that that's how that works. They still have a freaking memory board of, Maggie at the Kappa house. I need to know what that means. Like, what are the repercussions? So just want to know. At Kappa, she saw dead Maggie. She did. That girl was drunk, but she saw. That was a funny scene. Let's see, Tara. It will happen. I think you mean me. Okay, I must have missed something. Facts. It was byproduct by the spell for Macy, not the core split. In fact, this could be used in future for all necromancer victims to be brought back. I'm legit using the dagger and not become demons. True. That is something they could explore. I would love for them to explore it. That's the thing. I don't want them. It almost feels like once something is over, like once her demon side was gone, everything else was just dropped from that. We don't talk about that anymore. It's gone. Macy's not dealing with that. Nobody else in the house is dealing with that. So we don't need to know anything about it. That's what it seems like. The house is also uncloaked. So there's that. Yeah. Like, and then if the house is uncloaked, they're on private property, right? Like, do they pay taxes in that lot? How does this work? Somebody explain this to me. The writer in me, the person that writes screenplays, the film, graduate in me needs exposition. I need to have this. I know it's a CW show. I know we can't always get what we want and we should just enjoy these little cute moments that we get. But I want to know. I just want to know. Will there be a season 4? Yes, they've already announced that they've been renewed. So we are getting a season 4. Do you think that they would make a comic out of the series like the original, or am I just grasping at straws? I think eventually they will. Why not? It's a moneymaker. They might even have like novels. You know how when Vampire Diaries came out, they started doing novels, even though they had the original series I read back in high school with Vampire Diaries. They started making their own novels. More than likely, they'll do the same thing. They did it with Roswell. Roswell had its own novels, and they had the TV version. So we might get a TV version of Charm, maybe some side stories or side novels, as well as like graphic novels or comics. That would be really cool. Probably IDW. If anybody's going to do it, it's going to be IDW. I'm just saying. Okay. Let me move up. Sorry, I'm trying to get there, guys. Maggie is sometimey she's not down. She plays games with Parker and Jordan. She does. It's not but we have to understand that Maggie is young. She's like, what was she, like 18 or 19 when the show first, like she was a freshman in college when the first premiered. She's not, responsible enough and mature enough to have serious relationships. She's learning. She's gotten a lot bigger or better from where she was in season 1. Because remember, in season 1, she had a boyfriend that apparently she went to school with, elementary school with, and that was her boyfriend like forever. And then she liked Parker and cheated on her Kappa sisters, cheated with him on her Kappa sister. Like Parker was with was her name Tiffany? I cannot remember her freaking name. I don't know why I always go out of my name. I'm going to call her Tiffany, but that's probably not her name. But she was with Parker, and Maggie basically stole him. But again, I will say this, the Veras and the Vaughns, they seem to have no problem when they want something going after it. And they get that from their mama because their mama was a cheater. So just saying. How do you explain Mel's dead grave? They changed the future. Mel did sacrifice herself in the timeline and she was supposed to die. But when Maggie and Macy put their hands in the pool too, it changed the future. And then of course the side effect is now they're infected with whatever happened when the source and the tree mixed, causing them to have this like magical energy infection in their body. So essentially, Lucy, thank you, Lucy. But essentially what that means is that future that we saw with Mel no longer exists. So it's multiverse Doctor Who stuff. It changed the timeline. Let's see. They can't go back to their lives like nothing happened. Come on, writers, do a spell. Thank you. I am so annoyed that they just expect us to buy the fact that the cops wouldn't come for them. And like, okay. And then just hear me out. So I have been very vocal in my ethnicity on my channel. My mother's from Scotland. I am a dual national. I am a UK and US citizen. My father is Black and Native American. So I am Black, Native American, and Scottish. I don't think I look Hispanic, but I live in the South and everyone thinks I'm Hispanic. So imagine if I walked around when they were raiding and when ICE was raiding and I didn't have a social security number and I didn't have a driver's license, they're going to take my butt to Mexico because they're going to think that I came over here illegally. And there's no way I can prove it because I have no identification. So in this series with Mel and Maggie, who look almost completely Hispanic, Mel is Hispanic. I know the two actresses that play Maggie and Macy are not at all, but for the most part, if you look at Mel and you look at Maggie, they look very similar. Like they look like sisters. You cannot tell me that during, especially the time period that we were in and who the president was, even though they didn't talk about that on the show, that ICE would not have raided Safe Space and not picked up Mel and not picked up Maggie and toted them off to the detention center because they have no way of proving that they're American citizens. I'm sorry. I call BS on that. I'm probably the only reviewer that will say that about that. But if you really think about it, if you put it in realistic terms, the writing on this did not think about it. And I'm only bringing this up because Charmed is a pretty progressive show. They talk about a lot of things that they get accused of being woke or having an agenda or having too many SJWs, all of this, like mixed political packages that you get in this show. But they didn't think about the issue of, well, we just gave these girls no ID and they're pretty much, Latinx. What does that mean? Like, that's dangerous. That's more dangerous than them getting attacked because they go to the detention center and nothing they can do. I'm just saying, yeah, Harry gets can bust in and then orb them out. But I mean, I'm just putting it out there, guys. I'm just putting it out there. How do you know this stuff if you haven't been released yet? I'm doing theories. So if you're talking about what I think is going to happen, I generally do theories on things. Everything else I get from news like Twitter, Instagram posts, YouTube videos with the cast talking about things. Like there's a lot of videos you can actually look up right now where they talk about season 3 and they give like little spoilers away. So yeah, that's how I get most of my information. But most of the time when I watch an episode of Charmed, I formulate my theories while I'm watching it. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it comes true. Sometimes it doesn't. I still think Swan is more like, at first I thought she could be like the overlord of evil. Now I think she's an elder. Swan is something. And I don't care what anybody says. If the writers did not make Swan something, I call BS on that because she was too there. She was too always there. And now that Macy's going to inherit Safe Space, we get to see Swan again. I didn't bring up the fact that how cool Jordan looked in this episode, and now he's a law firm clerk. I'm like, okay, you go with your bad stuff. At least he's progressing in his, basically in his life, his profession. But it makes me wonder, just like with the internship of Maggie that she's trying to get, and also with Mel's day job, can they just leave their responsibilities now to go fight evil? And I'm only putting it out there like that. If you remember OG Charmed, the girls always had to leave their jobs and always like risk getting fired or losing their house or losing like all this, even times where Piper couldn't go to her club because they were busy fighting evil. How is it going to affect Mel's new job, her tenure for being professor? How is this going to affect Maggie getting that internship if she's always running out and having to do something? I hope it's not going to be like the Power Rangers. This is my inside joke. You know how Rita Repulsa only attacked them after 3? So, school is important. Like, I don't maybe now the whole magical world will only mess with the charm ones between the hours of 8 and 5 because we know they have a long day. And just like poor Jordan, being a law clerk, that's a big deal. Like my spouse is in law and or going into law and has a psychology degree. And I know that those two professions are very, very, very time consuming. They're not just regular hour professions. So how does that work? So yeah, I'm wondering. Again, they could be pulling the Rita Repulsa. It could be we only attack them after work. I don't know. But I just wonder what's going to happen. Swan is something that Abigail or Abigail's third sister, possibly. You know what? I initially, besides her being evil and being an elder, my very, very original thought. Remember when they actually said that Harry had another family? He cheated on his first wife with another woman and had a whole other family. And I always wondered if Swan was like the great granddaughter or granddaughter of that other family that Harry, created basically. And I also wonder if he knows who they are. Like, we never really went back to that. They had this big revelation that he was a cheater, and that's how he realized that he had a dark side. The wife saying, I know about the other family. So he did have the wife, and he did have the son, and we saw the son at the end of season 1. Remember, he got to go and see him as an elderly person with his grandkids. But we never got any insight on who the other woman and the other family is. That he fathered, children, or the woman he fathered children with. Or a child with, should I say? Because I don't know if they're children or child. We have no idea. I would love to know about Harry's other family. But I don't know if we ever will. I feel like it's a plot that may just got put out there just to prove a point and then just got shifted to the back burner. So I don't know. I wonder if they will go back to Harry's past life. They need to. Again, I want to know about that family. I need to know. Ruby is such an insignificant character. Can they please make her show up like a reoccurring character? I know. I think Ruby's actress is pretty. I like her voice. She has a really nice voice. I don't know what it is. I really like her voice. I don't know about her and Mel. Like I know I'm a big Abby Mel pusher. I love Abby and I love Mel together, even though it hasn't happened. And God, it probably will happen for a long time. They're making this whole Mel and Ruby thing be like this Nico and Mel thing. And we haven't had them have an actual date. We haven't seen anything besides them disagreeing over, whether or not to be a witch and having booty calls at Ruby's place. And the little bit she's showed up to support, Mel. We did get that really cool, really sweet scene at, Mel's grave, but this never happened because she never died. So I don't know what's going to happen with them. I need them to flesh out Ruby a lot more so I have a reason to like her more. And I'm hoping they do that this season, but I don't know. For right now, it's really insignificant for me. I don't really care. And that's sad. I don't care about Mel's romantic life. Even though Mel's my favorite character, I don't care because they're not giving me a reason to. So that's how I feel about that. Hasty will last long and it will happen. Yeah. Oh, Hasty is Endgame. That's what that is. Let's see. No more Harry's past life, please. I'm tired of Harry. Well, okay. I do agree that they had season 2 was so Harry centric. I know that they did a big chunk of story just on Harry, but please, you don't have to do another Harry story. Just tell me who this other family is. Just tell me who they are. They can be in one episode. I don't care. And if Swan is somehow related to that, I just need to know. But I would love it if she was an elder, if she just kind of sat back and said, I've been watching all this crap, trying to see if you're going to get yourself out of this mess, if I have to step in, but I see you handled your business. So I just keep over here. That would be cool. It would be cool if she was a witch and she was in witchness protection the entire time. That would be cool too. Rosemary isn't my problem. Apparently Rosemary's not anybody's problem unless, that would be really messed up if Macy finds out she inherits Julian's sister too. Let's see. Abigail likes Mel, but acts like she doesn't care. Yeah, you could tell. And And if you look at some of the scenes in season 2, Mel thinks that Abby's hot too. Okay. Trying to move up. Well, I'm doing this. What did you guys think about Kevin? Let me know below. I really liked Kevin's actor. I thought that whole character, I love the way he said, I'm going to make people see me. I just think that was really cool. It wasn't something that I thought people would get upset about and say agenda. Cause one of the things I hate when I go to YouTube channels, like if I watch a show and I review a show, I normally don't watch any reviews until I do mine because I don't want to be clouded by anything. But I do check out other channels after. And I've seen so many people that just love to use the word agenda. And it really bothers me to a point where it makes my head hurt. And I was really hoping, I'm really, really hoping that this episode is not going to spark an agenda conversation where people are saying, oh, the CW just trying to jump on the transgender bandwagon and blah, blah, blah. Because they'll do that. They will do that. They will find something like this that actually is a problem in our country. Transphobia is a real thing. And they'll make it into a preaching moment, or they'll get angry about it, or they'll start screaming agenda. And I really hate that. And I hope that that's not going to be something that happens with this episode. But it might, because unfortunately, Batwoman is still getting slammed. They slam Batwoman no matter what. I actually am enjoying Javicia Leslie as Batwoman tremendously, and she's getting so much hate in the YouTube world from different reviewers. If you don't believe me, just type in Batwoman review and you will see exactly what I'm talking about. And it just makes me angry. So I really hope that we're not going to have that here. I need a little bit more time with Kevin, if I'm honest. That's fair. DeVille, if I'm saying that right, DeVille Stewart, the boring YouTuber. I love your name. Kevin is the transgendered student in Mel's class that she was helping in the episode. Harry and Macy sitting in the tree, kissing. First come love, then comes marriage. Wait, first they got a touch. True. Okay, you should rewatch this episode. People only use agenda when they come from communities of privilege. This is true. They are at risk of marginalized communities. They do deserve representation. I agree with that. I mean, that's something I've always said. I hate that most of the people that I see review shows like this and Batwoman and other shows and always have something to say are usually the ones that at the end of the day can turn their computers off and don't have to worry about being discriminated against or shot by the cops or anything else. It actually, I'm trying not to use profanity in this stream, but it effing pisses me off. So yeah, it's what it is. I nitpick shows when I review things because I want to do a fair review and I actually want to just express my confusion. And sometimes if I don't like something, I just like to talk about it. But you will never hear me in any review I will ever do literally get upset about agenda, SJW, any of that stuff. I just won't, because it's pointless. And the people that are like so up in arms about it are probably the ones that need to hear it the most, because obviously it's not getting across. So just saying. Why didn't Charm come on today? It came on for me. I'm not sure why it didn't come on for you. I have Xfinity, so it did come on. I'm in Central Time Zone, so it came on at 8:00 my time, right after Batwoman did. Maybe there's something going on in your area, and maybe the news or something, like maybe something got scheduled wrong, or I don't know. But you might be able to see it on demand. Sometimes it posts after 12 on the CW app. So you could probably watch it on there. Didn't the producers say the sisters would meet a new family member? I saw that. Now I want to know who this new family member is. That would be interesting. And wouldn't it be interesting if the new family member just came out of that rip? What if that is the family member that came through the rip at the end? That would be a good teaser. Let's see. Not trying to be mean. I'm just saying I'm so sorry if I offended you. Okay. I don't know what's happening there. I'm sorry. I'm not. Who are you talking to, Blue? I say Kevin is a witch or individual gym magic. I don't think that Kevin has magic at all, because if Kevin did, then Mel would have been blasted right across that room, because they can't be around anyone magical. But it would be interesting if right now they are magic detectors. So if they walked around and they went to shake somebody's hand or got too close to somebody and they got zapped, they'd be like, ha, you are something. So, I guess this will be a big test. If Swan is not around Macy at Safe Space because she can't be around anything magical, then she doesn't have any magic. If she can't be around Macy, then that's an indicator that there's something going on with Swan. I still think there's something going on with Swan. Why isn't Charm getting a promo yet? Doing just as good as other CW shows and getting better viewership. Yeah, I know. I don't know what CW is doing right now. And I'm going to review this on Tuesday. I know that Superman and Lois is premiering this Tuesday, and HBO put a lot of money behind that. That's why the filming looks really, really professional, like movie quality. And so I think they're putting all their promotions around that right now because it's the big budget one. And unfortunately, I love comics. I've been reading comics for over 37 years, and I don't hate Superman, but whenever Superman, gets anything, he's going to take top billing to everything else. And it sucks, but that's just what it is. Let's see. He says Superman and Lois really needs it. Yeah, it's possible. I will say, though, that trailer looked pretty damn good. Not like my level of excitement with Mortal Kombat coming out, but it did look pretty good. Swan doesn't have magic because remember the magic camera things? True. But I wonder, though, if she was an elder and she's no longer, with everything that happened with the elder, like with Celeste, would they be able to detect it? Like if she turned her powers off or had the command center take her powers, then we wouldn't know. Because remember, the charm ones, if they didn't have their powers right now, they probably could be around each other. It's just something I'm thinking about because they were only limited. They were limited to basically using potions. So I think anything magical. So demons would have been out. So they wouldn't be able to touch Macy and Harry, but that Maggie and Mel would have been able to touch each other. Let me move up. It's nice to watch sci-fi and see people who look like me in shows like Batwoman, both versions, and Black Lightning and our Untold Stories. Now there's more options in Halloween. Yeah, I agree with that. I'm upset about Black Lightning having its last season right now. I'm still not over that. So I'm just not. Try don't have the power of 3 anymore. Now, I think they still have the power of 3. Just because they can't touch doesn't mean they're not charm ones. So I think they still have that. I don't know why they didn't use it in this episode. Again, though, Mel stood there while this little tentacle thing was coming at her and did nothing. Macy had to stop it. And I'm like, are you trying to die? Sometimes I wonder if Mel's a little suicidal because she's so willing to die all the time. It's really bothering me. I'm excited for Painkiller and Thunder and Lightning. I am too. I'm really hoping that Thunder, I know Lightning's not going to go over because she wants to do her own stuff. So I think she's leaving the network altogether. But I really think that they should bring Nafisa in, as Anissa, and maybe have Grace Choi be on that show too. I think that would be really cool. And blame COVID-19, Maria. I blame COVID for everything. Trust me, Tara, all the time. Let's see. It's a female. If it's okay, laugh a lot. It's a female cousin. I'm telling you, she'll be casted. Probably. I do wonder though, like, are we going to see, like, if a cousin's coming, just say you're right and is a cousin, are we going to know more about grandparents and other people, aunts and uncles, where they have been? Because it looked like nobody came to their funeral. So when everyone thought they were dead, where were the family members? That is really confusing to me. But, I like to catch these things because, I guess the writers don't think we're looking. Still trying to scroll up. I'm sorry. Trying to go up to the top. And it went back down again. Okay, so Macy has new power. Was using the individual charm. No, okay, so right, that power was the same one she used in season 2 when they were in the club, the episode where Abby and Mel were about to be sacrificed on the stage, and she uses it to immobilize the audience. That is the same power. The only thing is it had more like a greenish yellow hue, but now it kind of looked kind of like, at least on my TV, it looked like it was kind of more like a bluish gray. So I don't know. I don't really know why. First of all, I'm just going to say it. I really need Mel to get her time powers back because her being a time witch was very interesting. I do not like her Elsa and her Human Torch powers because I feel like the reason they don't let her use her powers is because it's a lot easier to stop a room by using a camera and doing stop motion than it is to CG all of this heat and all of this ice. And that's why Mel is very limited in her ability to use the powers because it's too expensive for the network. And my problem with that is if that's actually why she doesn't use her powers, like hardly at all, then they should never have given those to Mel. They should have given her original time stopping and abilities. And the fact that she was able to go forward to 2070 to hide her piece of the source necklace, that is badass. So I really would love, like, Maggie can keep her powers because at least now it's active, but I really want Mel to get her original powers back. It's not fair that Macy gets to keep her telekinesis. Maggie still has premonitions, but also can, like, literally, as far as I'm concerned, force push emotions on people. I think that Mel deserves to have something cool too. This little Elsa and Human Torch thing is not working for me. It's just not working for me. So yeah, hashtag give Mel her original powers back. Okay. You guys need the CW app. It's free. Yes, CW app is free. I have no idea. Like, I really don't know why it didn't play for you because nothing was interrupted on my end. I mean, the only thing I can think of is if something happened and they had like a special news report, maybe you didn't know, or if there was a game playing at some point and, they extended over, I could see them not airing Charmed for that on your network. Maybe something's going on with Dish. If it only happened on the Dish network, I have no idea. Again, I have Xfinity or Comcast, I guess. And it played right on time. I was able to watch it and then come. I mean, it's a good thing it came on because it would have made this live stream very hard to talk about. We wouldn't have anything to talk about other than the fact that I can't watch Charm. But yeah, I don't know what it is, but if you can get that CW free app, you can watch it. But the only downside is I think it usually waits till after midnight to post. So because it's considered next day. And anytime you have like an on demand on cable, I think it's like 6 or 7 a.m. the next day. So definitely go for the CW app. Let's see. I agree. I hope Mel gets her old powers back. Yes, Sunrise. Yes. I need her to have her time stopping ability. It is so effective. I just don't like this new power. They could at least make Ray say you made your family keep a big funeral for you and problem solved. Yeah. There should have been some kind of family. It's weird. It's just really weird. I don't know. Maggie needs her old powers and sorry, just jumped down it. And Mel needs time, no fire and ice. Yes, she does not need to be Elsa and Human Torch. Well, now she may use her powers in the same way Piper used them. I get what's happening. Normally when you're heating something, they're saying that she's speeding up the molecules so fast that they're setting on fire. And with the ice, she's slowing them down to the point that they age to the point of ice age, basically aging and they're freezing. It's still, I don't care. I'm like, just give her time powers back. I'm like, that's all you need to do. It would be cool to see slow monocles that Piper could, but she's got to get better with the wrist. Yeah, I agree. CW app is not available in my country. Do you have a VPN? If you get a VPN and they're relatively cheap, then you can actually watch it through the CW website. I forgot Macy's new powers. Yeah, she still has her telekinesis, but she has her like telekinesis immobilization where she can just like stop things. It's almost like she's freezing time in a way. She's holding it in time, which is kind of a slap in the face for Mel because she was the time witch. So it's just really stupid. Okay, Charms airing is messing with the CW. Hate that show, but realize people love it, so they keep it. Huh. So I don't know what's going on with it. I really don't. I don't know what's going on with that because it's not happening for me. So I'm sorry. I mean, you could probably call your networks and see why this stuff is happening. It's very weird. I don't know. Hasty, is it my end game? I get that. Harry is mine. Okay, Kay. I still think you're going to have to fight Macy on that one. if you really think about it, she manipulation, so she has flexible uses. It's like Green Lanterns and their powers. She's just not creative. So I feel like if she had, I love Green Lantern. I love the Lantern Corps in general. I feel like if she had a lantern ring and she was only limited to using fire and ice, people would understand my frustration. Like, because, you know, I love Jon Stewart. I love Kyle, you know, Renner. I'm a big Jessica Cruz fan. These people, like, look at Jessica Cruz. Jessica Cruz is pretty much Maggie. She has PTSD. She has anxiety attacks, but yet she's still able to use really cool abilities and use imagination. I don't think that it's not that Mel has no imagination. I think that they just gave her very limited scope to work with because it seems like it takes forever for her powers to slow down, you know, to slow those molecules down. Like, she was literally, you saw it start off with a little bit of fire, then spreading, and then boom. Piper, when she was able to basically blow things up, it was a flick. But yet here's Mel struggling to light up this one thing. And then you got Macy, who's just mastered her powers. Maggie's mastered her powers. I don't get that. I don't understand that at all. It's just really weird. Who is Abigail's sister and mother? We don't know that yet. They have not revealed who the mother is or who the sister is. We just know that they don't want anything to do with Abby. She's not as powerful as her sisters. I know. I don't know what that's about. It's really weird. It's traditionally, it's the one that actually had non-active power, which was Maggie, is the one that does not, you know, have the stronger ability. She just had premonition and then she was an empath. Now it seems like Macy, and then the hierarchy goes to Maggie and then Mel. No, actually it's more like Macy, Maggie, Harry, and then Mel. And that's really freaking weird. So I don't get it. I don't like her controlling molecules so slow. And shouldn't Macy be able to do the same thing via telekinesis? Exactly. That's why I think it's stupid. Let's see. Couldn't Mel do some alchemy magic? Yeah. I mean, she's very into potions and things like that. Heck, she owns a magic store. She never goes to it. Like, that's another question I have, guys. Thank you for this. Now that Macy is going to own Safe Space, who's going to be running the magic store? Because Mel inherited this store, but she's a professor now. But quite frankly, I don't even think she was working at the magic store to begin with. They were just taking all the ingredients. So I don't know how the store is making money or how they're able to pay the rent to keep the store there at Safe Space. I don't understand any of it. So I guess that's another nitpick, you know, guys. Question to the universe and cosmos of the Charmed Writers. What is happening with Kat's store that she gave to Mel? Who's running it? Just asking. Let's see. Immobilize is not freezing time. It is telekinesis so powerful you can stop objects in its position. True. I mean, and quite frankly, they can still move. But the problem with that is that when she's immobilized, when she was holding whatever the tentacle thingy was, it wasn't moving, and she was constantly holding it in place, which is kind of like what you see a time witch do. But yet, when Mel was trying to burn it, it was just so weird to me. And then why didn't she just freeze it first? Like, why did Mel freeze the creature, then start burning it? Because obviously the burning portion of her power, the fire part, takes a lot longer than the freezing part. I don't get it. But either way, I just think it's more effective for Mel to be a time witch, to have her time powers back. But she doesn't own it. She's put in charge to find someone to own it. Well, okay, but they never go back to that. That's my problem. Like, we do know that when they were looking for, or when they were getting ingredients for their potions, they were getting them from the magic store. But she left it for Mel to run. That's fine. Even if they were trying to find another owner, they never went back to that storyline. And that is a problem I've had. I need you to have like closure on these. Don't open up plots. Because think about it. Kat was only there for a millisecond. She had like a 30-second romance with Mel. And then she took off to find herself as a medium. And she left her store behind. The store that she loved. And Mel was supposed to run. And we never saw Mel go there. We never saw anything about that store ever again. It seems like when Kat left, Mel left too. That's what it seemed like to me. Because, I mean, honestly, Mel was spending all her time trying to make potions. They were trying to figure out how to get their powers back, and of course, when Ruby came in the picture, trying to spend time with Ruby at her house. Like, it just was never a priority. So I really want to know who's running the store. I don't think that they can bring their mom back, because season 1, when Macy took on the source and tried to keep her alive, she kept dying. True. But I mean, again, we don't know. They don't have the Book of Shadows. They don't know what they don't know, if that makes sense, because they don't know a lot. They haven't had time to really 100% embrace who they are. They didn't even know that there was a history of Charmed Ones, which, honestly, if there was a history of Charmed Ones, that should have been something that the elders and the White Lighters should know. Maybe the White Lighters weren't informed, but the elders should have known that. So I don't know why that never came up. Like, where they say, no, in the first season, you three come from a long history of Charmed Ones, long line of Charmed Ones, not necessarily in your family, but this is an honor, a privilege, a legacy. None of that stuff. You're just the Charmed Ones. So, okay. In season 1, they wanted Macy to be the most powerful, but Mel was more powerful, so they let Mel lose her power and make her the weakest now. They did a lot. Like, if you ever notice, Mel's normally the character that traditionally is in the background. Like, everybody has a story progressing, and Mel doesn't really progress anywhere. That's why I'm happy that she's at least a professor again, by her getting back to her old life. But I do have a problem with this. And I'm really glad that we're talking about that. This is why I think I like doing a live stream, because now I get to have this. If I had done this as a video, I would not have thought of this. When Mel rewrote Nico's time, she rewrote her own history. So essentially, she was a bartender, and that was the experience she had. She was never a professor or adjunct professor, or like nothing. She wasn't, she didn't have those credentials. So then how was she qualified to be a professor if she was a bartender? Now I got to go back now. Let's all revisit season 1. Mel was a bartender at a bar. She rewrote her own history. They don't like Mel. Like Cheryl said, the writers don't like Mel. They don't like Mel. So she literally is in a job as a professor that technically, if you really think about the timeline and her rewriting it, she's not qualified for. And yes, she was going to college, but she was in grad school. She was an adjunct professor. So how is she a professor in Seattle at the Seattle State College, and she never finished her degree? Huh. Okay. That's my other question, guys. I'm just piling questions on for everyone to think about. I feel like season 1, they were just a little past season 3 of OG Charmed. I agree. I think Mel should have met Ruby at the potion shop. Remember, Ruby is a witch, so I'm sure she would at least want an herb for something. Yeah, I'm wondering what happened with Kat's actress. Did she just bail? Did she just decide she didn't want to be on the show anymore? That's really weird. That was very, very weird. Gag, that was some super fandom stuff. Mel's new timeline. She didn't have the credentials for #personal gain. I'm telling you, I don't know how she's a professor now. It didn't dawn on me until we just started talking. I'm like, this is absolutely true. She was a bartender. She rewrote herself out of that job. So I don't understand. Now, I do know, to play devil's advocate, when she was with Nico woke her up, and then because the reason she didn't get the job is because she missed the interview. So I don't know if that says that maybe her undergrad, which I'm pretty sure her undergrad was done. Maybe her undergrad was in women's studies. Maybe that made her qualified enough, and maybe they went by her bachelor's degree. I don't know. I need more exposition on this, because her job experience is as a bartender, and that's what's on her resume. She's a bartender. So I just need to know. We must have some extreme control to have magic but not use it. Well, that, or she just generally doesn't like it. So that kind of makes sense. The writers probably retconned the history changing thing. Well, if they did that, then where's Nico? With a master's degree, she could be qualified to be a lecturer. That's true, Tan. But remember, she didn't finish her master's degree. She has her undergrad. She was in grad school, and part of her tuition was being paid. And they said this in the show that they had, because their mother was a professor, their tuition was basically paid, or like, I guess they were allowed to go to the school without paying originally. And then when their mom died, they had to start paying for school. And that's when Mel's like, she was almost done with her grad degree, and Maggie was a freshman or sophomore at the time. And so she was working at the school teaching a women's studies class as an adjunct professor. So she's doing it, but not an actual professor. So when they rewrote the timeline, she never had that job. So the only job on that resume right now is a bartender. And I don't know how other schools work, but my alma mater would be like, you need to have teaching credentials. You need to have experience teaching before you just become a professor. So I do have issues with that, but whatever. Trying to move up. If I see Mel freezing in season 3, I'm going to need Elsa to come and get back her power. True that. Imagine this Elsa to the first portal and it's like, I came to collect my powers. That tracks. She could start singing Into the Unknown. I'll be down with that. I would be down with that. The actress for Kat, I think, got a lead for a different show or got a better role for another show. Okay. She was in a graduate studies, so I'm not sure if that was a master's or PD. It was master's. She actually, I remember in season 1, she was talking about her master's. The only one that has a PhD is, of course, Macy. She has her doctorate. Okay. Didn't Ray say that he can hook them up? Yeah, but Ray said that before they were like going to go back to their lives too. So I always wondered how he was going to do that. Like it was, with the new names or whatever. Because I mean, he can't just go and say, "Hey, my daughter that's dead, can you give her, admittance into the school?" But I guess now that they're no longer dead and there are no repercussions to this, they can do whatever the hell they want. Harry still has his credentials as a former department head, right? First, Elsa way more powerful than any of the charm ones. Yeah, if Elsa was on this show, none of this stuff would be going down. Ray said he will sort things out when this is over. So Ray is the real hero here. True. Ray is always saying something. Totally agree. I would like to see the showrunners bring in other family members. I would. I need to have more family. I need to know about the Vera family. Like, their mother cannot be the first witch in their house, in their family line. That doesn't make any sense. I don't know. I'm just saying. Which sister is a lesbian? That would be Mel. That was established before season 1 and even aired. She was basically established as being a lesbian in the series. So she's the only one that is out of the 3. Was episode 4 supposed to be available on the website? So I'm really getting concerned for you guys. I don't know what happened if you have not seen Charmed tonight. And I feel bad because I've been in here spoiling it. But yeah, episode 4 for us aired as usual on our Xfinity. I mean, I recorded it on my DVR and I watch it. So go back and see if I missed something. It played on time for us. I don't know why people aren't able to see it. I don't know. I really have no idea what's going on. But it should be on the CW app or the CW website. But the problem is they normally wait until after midnight. So it's considered next day. And I don't know if that's every area. For me, if I were to get on my CW app or the website after midnight, I would see the episode. I have no idea why you guys aren't seeing this. And I'm really sorry. And Naive says that episode 4 is on demand right now. So I guess it just depends on what area you're in. And if you're in an area where you don't have the CW, like I said earlier, I mean, you can get a really cheap VPN and try it that way, I guess. Because I have to do that for some of my British shows. So I don't know. I have no idea why Charm didn't play correctly for some people. It's really interesting. Ray knows people in high and low places. Trust me. Oh yeah, we've established that. He even knew Nadia from the faction. So yeah, Ray knows people. But they always made Ray out to be the bad guy, and I felt bad because we find out he's not. He was just hurt because Marisol cheated on him. I mean, literally. And Ray has to be, you have to give Ray props because he raised Maggie knowing that Maggie was not his and was Dexter's. So, and even said, you're my daughter. You've always been my daughter. So I think that's really cool. If Elsa was there, she'll probably train Mel on how to use the molecular inhibition power. Oh my God. I can imagine that Elsa is her cousin. You guys are crazy. That would be really cool, but that's crazy. Let's see. Season 3 hasn't updated yet. I'll check it at midnight tonight. Okay. Blue Savior, that would be so funny if Elsa is their cousin. Yeah, if that happens, I'm going to remember this, that you're the one that said that, Blue Savior, and you get mad props if Elsa pops. If she comes in there, gets on the porch and starts singing Into the Unknown, I'm done. I'm like, I am done. Let's see. Ray wasn't a bad guy. He was just a deadbeat dad. It's called I May Not Be Your Father, But I Am Your Dad. And you see, this is another thing. I don't know if it was necessarily he was a deadbeat dad. Him and Marisol had a lot of issues. We don't know everything that went on between them because I'm starting to see that Marisol was doing a lot of shady stuff. And I think they're going to learn a lot more about their mother too, because they didn't know their mother cheated. Like, she's a cheater. She's very, very sneaky. And of course she was working with elders. She was an elder. She knew Harry. Harry was working for her. I mean, there's so much to that. So we don't know 100% the story behind why Ray stayed away. But I don't think Ray stayed away because he was a deadbeat dad. I think he stayed away because he really loved Marisol. And all of that stuff that happened, it was just a mess. It's hard for him. But yeah. I missed Abby in this episode. I did too. That would make Anna their cousin too. Imagine the fifth spirit as a cousin. It's Charmed on Netflix. I think the OG Charmed is no longer on it. I think they moved it to Peacock. But this version of Charmed, the reboot Charmed, is the first 2 seasons, I believe. I think they might have updated the season. No. So sometimes I know that in some countries, not ours, on the States, if you have a new season on some versions of Netflix, if something comes out, normally they'll put the episodes up like the following week on Netflix. But I don't think ours does that. I think we get whole season releases. So I think 1 and 2 is now on Netflix, or at least it was the last time I checked. And then when this season is over, maybe like a week or 2 later, we'll get season 3. Unless they lose the CW contract, then we won't get anything. So this depends. So with all the streaming services and everybody getting new streaming services, all up in the air, and it's crazy. Ray was good in my opinion from the beginning. Yeah, I like Ray. I feel bad for him. It would have been nice if the actor who played Daryl played Macy and Maggie's dad. Yeah, that would have been cool. I love Daryl. Daryl was such a good character. Let's see. I'm going to take a few more because we've been doing this for over an hour, guys. So let me know at the bottom, have there been any tech issues? Have you had problems hearing me? Have I been jumping anywhere? Like, have I been jumping in and out? I do use StreamYard, so I'm hoping that I've been testing it. I have the paid version now. I'm trying to make sure that it's worth the money. But let me know if this connection has been kind of stable, because if not, I need to figure out why. Because again, I pay extra for this, so I need to fix it. Trying to see if I can get a few more questions, but when it scrolls, I'm not seeing Charm on Netflix. I live in the ghetto. Where do you live? Okay, and a few more. Move back. We need a power analysis from the Charm ones, like Macy. She has way too much. I agree with that. They should have like a scale, like in the comics, how they have Omega mutants and things like that, like in Marvel Universe, or they have like Nexus beings. We should have a scale for Charmed. I think that would be cool. Imagine Daryl coming in the show, meeting them. He'd be like, I'm done. You're not wrong. You were not wrong. Okay, I'm going to take a few more questions. Just going back. In the OG Charmed, magic just interfered with their lives, magical beings coming for help, items messing up work. In the new one, it's just all over the place, which is which is what more of a linear timeline. I agree with that, TJ. Yeah. Not only does magic, like, it's not just magic that messes up their lives, they mess up their lives. That's what makes it funny. It's like they do stuff to complicate their own, issues. Now, I'm going to tell you again, if I was in danger in this show, I'm going to use my powers at all times. There will never be a point in this series that I would not use them. Like, oh, something's flying at me. Powers. I mean, oh, you're trying to kill me? Powers. Oh, you're thinking about trying to kill me? Powers. I'm not going to stand there and be like, what do I do? Should I do something? Oh, Macy's got it. No tech issues. Awesome. Thank you. Hasty is still my end game. Nyleave, if I know anything at all, I know that Hasty is your end game. You have told me this tonight. Okay. Also, without the demon power up, Maggie would probably be the most powerful sister. I mean, yeah, you're literally pushing emotions. That's pretty powerful. The sisters really need to use their powers more. Yes, they really do. I miss Macy's demon power. So do I. I want, like I said, my perfect series would be Mel getting her powers back, having closure with Nico, us seeing Jada again, eventually hooking up with Abby. That's Mel's story. Hasty finally being able to be together without catastrophic stuff keeping them apart. Hasty not losing power, but at least learning to control her abilities and getting her demon powers back and controlling that would be awesome. The girls all bonding more, especially Macy and Mel, because they are the two sisters that need to bond. I love the little banter today between the three of them, but I need Macy and Mel to get on the same page and that they are sisters and they love each other and that they have a bond. I need that to happen. I need that to effing happen. I just need that to happen. I need the girls not to be separated all the damn time, because that's what drove me really insane about season 2. I need them not to do that ever again. I need Maggie to make up her mind about Jordan. Jordan is a very likable character. I like Jordan a lot. But as I said in my last one, I'm going to say a curse word, shit or get off the pot. They need to work this out. He's either in or he's out. He either is going to be with Maggie or he's going to have a different storyline altogether. He's not going to be the person that just pines after Maggie, because it did not go past me that he told, Harry to say hi to Maggie for him. He is pining for Maggie. No, he needs to be working to be a lawyer, trying to break his curse. There's so much potential for Jordan. I need them to get them together or do something else with them. So that needs to happen. I need Harry to not be the focus of every episode. Just saying. And I also need Macy's writers. And I'm saying this to you right now, CW writers. I love Hasty. I love that they love each other. But I also want Macy to be upset that she can't hug her sisters. Not that she's just not getting any. I need that to happen. I need you to make that a scope. I realize that Macy was raised by herself and she's not used to having sisters. And this is all new. And it's only been, I guess in their timeline, 3 years. But she has sisters. So please do it. So that's what I'm going for now. Also, please make Swan an elder. I'm like, it's what I need. It's what I need, guys. Hasty is not my end game. They need to break up. Well, that's going to start a fight. All right, guys. So it is over an hour and 22 minutes. So I'm going to bed because some of us have to work tomorrow. But I love this format because I can do this a lot faster. Because if I'd been doing this video, I wouldn't have got to see all of this stuff. And I probably would not have this video out until like midnight, my time, probably later for you. So yeah, this is probably going to be my normal format. I think we're going to do a live stream unless I have a tech issue or we have a storm. I'm going to do a live stream for Charmed every week, which means my Batwoman video will come out tomorrow morning. That way I can kind of space it out and I can do it like somewhere around my lunch break tomorrow. But yeah, you guys have been awesome. I love you. Please keep your questions going. Like, just put a lot of questions because this chat's going to go away. So when this posts, you won't see this chat anymore. So if you have any questions I did not answer, because it does like to do its crazy scrolling thing, please put it down in the comments, and I promise you I will answer them. I do try to answer all of my comments. It's just sometimes, like of the Yashahime video, they come long, so it takes me longer, but I eventually get to them. So please put the comments below, and then let me know what you thought about the episode. Like all the points that I made, please let me know, because I love these discussions and it helps me with my theories for next week. So yay, that will happen. But yeah, guys, I will see you next time. Again, I will have my Batwoman video out tomorrow, so please be on the lookout. And if you're a Power Rangers fan, I'm thinking about doing the first episode of Dino Fury, even though it's a stupid name, because I'm also a Power Ranger fan. So I will probably try and get that up possibly tomorrow too. We'll see. Maybe not. It might be on Tuesday, but we'll see. But yeah, I love you guys. Good night and have a good evening / morning, whatever time zone you're in. And let me know what you thought.